All right, we'll stay with policing matters. Weekend reports suggest that the National Police Commissioner, Fannie Masemola, faces arrest. Now, it's alleged that he's abused the slush fund, and it comes in the wake of allegations made by the KwaZulu-Natal Commissioner, Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. And of course, the SAPS, though, has had its fair share of turbulences. But what does this do, right, for an institution that is still trying to restore its own image as far as the members of the public are concerned? We now speak to the national spokesperson of the South African Police Union, Lesiba Thobaggale. Lesiba, good evening to you, and thank you so much for your time. So before we even get into the developments around the National Police Commissioner, let's just firstly speak about the story that we're running today that happened last week of the two police officers who were killed in Roodepoort. What's the reaction of the union?
Thank you, Bongio, for having us, and greetings to your viewers. It is a very painful experience to see police officers being murdered at this rate, as we have seen that since March last year up until March this year, we have already 27 police officers who were killed on duty. And even since the beginning of this financial year, we continue to see those numbers growing. I mean, the incident that occurred at Roodepoort, it is it is indeed outrageous when we look at the brutality that criminals have against police officers. That goes to the very same incident that happened in Mpumalanga, where Mkhwanazi was also shot and killed by criminals. So the issue of police killings remains to be a very serious issue to us as an organization, and it should be a very serious issue, should be treated with its seriousness by government in this country. That is why our call to say that the issue of police killings should be declared treason should indeed be taken to heart by government through action. I mean, for the longest time, we have been calling for police killing to be declared as treason, for it is crime against the state, and any attack on police officers, it is an attack on the state, and the state must protect the protectors whom are there to protect the inhabitants of the republic and even their property, carrying their constitutional mandate. So it continues to be worrying us because we continue to see the numbers. I mean, we just mentioned those who are murdered on duty. There are those who keeps on being murdered whilst they are off duty. They also get to be targeted. So that remains to be a problem. If there's no political will to really make sure that this declaration really happens, it means we'll continue to see the numbers grow from time to time.
Yeah, and Lesiba, of course, to another matter now, as a union, I wonder if you are aware of the developments that some media reports are suggesting around the National Police Commissioner, and what do you know?
We have had speculations. We've seen it, I mean, on social media and even the reports as speculations. Unfortunately, we are not commenting on speculations that are made, more especially when it comes to serious issues that has very serious implications in this regard. I think if the so-called arrest has been effected, then we would be in a position to really answer. But so far, it is speculation, and really commenting on speculation, it is indeed not advisable on our side to do so.
And be that as it may, right, he says, when asked about this, that this is a matter that must be directed at those who want to arrest him, as quoted in media reports. But one would ask, right, given the history that we've seen as far as the SAPS is concerned, the National Police Commissioner chair appears to be somewhat of a poison chalice. Why is that in your view?
Like we said, we really don't want to throw aspersions on issues, more especially when they are clearly placed on speculation. Because that on its own, it really means that we are already becoming judgmental. And if there's issues that warrants one to appear before the courts, I think they should be allowed for that to happen in that way. And if indeed there is a case that one has to answer to, there are processes that needs to be followed so that the attendance of any person who is alleged to have committed something to be secured in court. Our is based on that in this regard as well. Up until such time, I think even us to really comment and even delve deeper it will not assist ourselves, it will not assist the public in terms of a perspective that we can give.
And Lesiba, though, you know, especially when you think about the SAPS in itself, there's been allegations that were made by the Provincial Commissioner of KwaZulu-Natal. And then we just ran a story, for example, now in court of a whistleblower. And there have been other instances in the past, not only even looking at this particular matter now, there have been other instances in the past where we would see quite a number of reports around the top brass of the SAPS. What have these done, particularly when it comes to the perception of the public on the SAPS?
I think about allegations that were made by the PC of KwaZulu-Natal. There is a commission of inquiry that is established, which we clearly support, that it will look into all of those issues. And any issue that relates to being it the top brass of SAPS, clearly when we look at the public perception, SAPS as an organization, it is a law enforcement in nature and carrying a constitutional mandate to make sure that they are without reproach. A principle, it remains to be one, to say that anyone, being it a lower ranking or being it a higher ranking officer in SAPS, they should be found without any form of reproach. But when we are saying that, we must also be careful as well to say that when on issues that have not been proven, where we really start to make conclusions on those. But the public perception, it depends on what is it that appears before them. That's why we are saying sometimes it can really clearly be dangerous if facts are not really placed in front of ourselves. But the relationship between the community and the police remains to be important to us, which we continue to work closely and work hard to make sure that we restore that relationship and even the public trust and also the public perception. Because as we speak, Bongi, where our prisons are full because majority of our police officers are doing what is expected of them. You and I, we are seated where we are because there are police officers who are patrolling our streets, who are making sure that they are doing what is expected of them. So where there happen to be any issues that really suggest that some may be found wanting, those types of cases must be isolated and dealt with accordingly, but not to take a blanket approach when it comes to perceptions and when it comes to law enforcement and even SAPS as an organization at large.
Lesiba, appreciate your time. Thank you so much for talking to us this evening. That was the national spokesperson of the South African Police Union, Lesiba Thobakgale.